Hello, how are you? I am back again, and today I want to do a quick compare and contrast video on two of my favourite Jo Malone perfumes. One of them is Red Roses and the other one is Velvet Rose and Oud, and I thought this would be quite a good video because if you are wanting a Jo Malone perfume and you love roses but you don't really know which one to go for, I thought this video might help you out. So I have to say, before I get started, these are two of my favourite Jo Malone perfumes. I absolutely love them. I think Jo Malone do roses so well. Like, they really have nailed that rose accord. They just know what they're doing when it comes to a rose. And I would say that my favourite ever Jo Malone perfume is Red Roses. And I would say either my second, maybe my third, is Velvet Rose and Oud. But I can't think of any perfume which really tops it. So maybe they are my number one and number two. Who knows? But I love them. I love them. I think they're beautiful. I also adore the Poppy and Barley, which has a lot of rose notes. And I really love the new one, which is like rose water and vanilla. That's really beautiful too. But today I'm just going to focus on Red Roses and Velvet Rose and Oud and hopefully try and explain the difference between the two. Yeah, let's start with Red Roses. This is probably my all-time favourite Jo Malone perfume. I love it. I've been wearing it for years. I don't have a signature scent, but if I did, it would be this one. I love it. I just think it's perfection. I love a good rose. I love a vintage accord. I love a perfume which is kind of like really evocative of like a feeling or a moment or just like a kind of something special. Like, I don't want to smell sweet and sexy. I want to smell like a moment, you know? Does that sound weird? Does that sound pretentious? I think it might do. But I really love this because it just is like, I don't know, it's something about it which is modern, fresh, special. It smells like a really good day. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're wearing it, you're gonna have a good day. It's like wedding day worthy, but like more fun, more exciting. Yeah, I just love it. It's also got great longevity, which I don't think enough people talk about. And it just feels modern, classic, kind of smells quite vintage. Feels very like glamorous, you know, and I'm into that, but it's not too sexy. And I'm into that too. Or it's like, if it is sexy, it's quietly sexy, you know? It's not too in your face. I never want to smell like I'm trying to like smell sexy. I don't know, maybe that's something deep in my soul that I have some issues about, but that's how I feel, you know? That's how I feel. I want to smell elegant, wealthy, fabulous, and that's how this perfume makes me feel and smell, I think. Anyway, I'm wearing it now. I absolutely love it. It's fresh, it's full of roses, it's got top notes of lemon, heart notes of rose, and the base notes are kind of like a honeycomb, beeswaxy, resinous loveliness. And yeah, it's just fresh, it's exciting, it's beautiful, it's kind of heady but also just like summertime. You really get that freshness of the lemon, but you also get the kind of warm, velvety, quite traditional rose, which kind of makes it quite modern but also quite traditional. Like, it's not an old fuddy-duddy rose. Not that I think there is such a thing as a fuddy-duddy rose. I think a beautiful rose is always just a beautiful rose. I think some synthetic rose perfumes really ruined it for the flower, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just like modern, fabulous, kind of vintagey, just, yeah, special, exciting. It's quite fresh and daytimey. Like, it's airy, but it's also obvious. You know, it's a very unusual one. Like, it's airy but obvious. I don't know how else to put it. But yeah, it's got a translucency, but it's definitely got a punch as well. It's beautiful, gorgeous daytime perfume, and I would very much describe it as that, as a daytime perfume. The longevity is wonderful with it. Like, it really does go on all day. It kind of mellows out and gets a little bit warmer and kind of a little bit more sensual as you wear it, and kind of goes a bit more like honeyed, but also retains the rose. I would say the lemon does lift, and then it kind of like sinks a bit. It goes a bit more like thinky, you know? Does that make sense? If you do want it to last a bit longer, I would recommend spritzing some into your hair, some into your clothes, and that will help make it last a bit longer. And also you can lock it in with a moisturizer. They actually say that moisturized skin holds fragrance better than dry skin, which is really interesting. But also hair and fibers hold perfume better as well. So always try and mist a little bit into your hair and a little bit into your clothes, especially if it's like a special day, like you're going to, like, you know, an all day long event and you want it to last, you know? That's what you've got to do. Anyway, that is Red Roses. Gorgeous, fresh, airy, fabulous, vintage, modern, lemon, roses and kind of this wonderful, just like honeyed, resiny, warmy loveliness. And then we have Velvet Rose and Oud. And this is also a gorgeous rose, but it's a different rose. Like it's a whole different vibe of roses. So I'm gonna get the notes up of this one because I can't remember them off the top of my head. I think it contains clove, but I'm gonna check because my memory is not what it was. So the top note is clove, the heart note is damask rose, and the base note is oud. Now I'm already wearing this. I'm wearing it on this hand. I was wearing the red roses on this hand, Velvet Rose and Oud on this hand. Oh, do you know what? Sometimes I'm like, is this one my number one or is it red roses? Like, oh, the two of them are gorgeous. So this one, you do get roses, but you get more of kind of like a warmer, sweeter, kind of like almost like a more velvety deliciousness of a rose. Like it's not a fresh garden rose. It's like a, holy crap, where did you get that rose from? Like it's really like, oh, it's special. You know, when you're like, it's special. Like it's just beautiful. This is more like a garden rose. This is more like a mystical rose. Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of rose that you kind of know exists, but like you don't normally get to see or smell. It's very special. But it's got this kind of this clovey spiciness at the top. It's almost like something else. Like it's clovey, but it's not a Christmas clove. It's just like a bit of a warm spiciness. It's almost, I don't know, black peppery something, but it's warm, lovely, spicy. And it just goes beautifully with the rose. Like the rose is just warm and enveloping and just very, very, very special. And then at the base there is of course that oud, but it's not sharp, smoky oud. It's like a warm, gentle, smoky oud. You know how there's different ouds. Some of them are sharper, a lot more intense, a lot more challenging, you know? And then some of them are kind of quite warm and resinous. This is kind of like quite an ambery oud. It's got a bit of sweetness to it. It's got a little bit of, I don't know, it's got a little bit of like smokiness, embery, vanilla almost. It's almost like a Bourbon-y style oud. It's not dark and intense and harsh. It's softened and it's smoother and it's more like rounded. And it does remind me more of kind of like an embers and a log fire and amber. Like it's a really pretty oud. If you think that some ouds are quite like challenging and not quite for you, this is the kind of oud that like I think everybody would enjoy wearing. And there's also a little bit of sweetness in there, which is quite Turkish delight, and there's a real powdery note to it too. If you're looking for a perfume for the daytime and you want something rose but you want something like fresh, modern, crisp and just, I don't know, like fresh loveliness, then I would say to definitely go for red roses. But if you want something a little bit more sensual, a little bit more romantic, something a little bit more evening-y, I would say go for the Velvet Rose and Oud. They both have great staying power. I would say that the Velvet Rose and Oud has possibly better staying power. However, I'm going to go wild and I'm going to try putting a bit of the Velvet Rose and Oud with the red roses and see how that goes. Ooh, that's quite good. I'm going to spray a bit more of the red roses just to kind of amp up those notes as well. I've never tried these two together. Definitely makes it more complex. You definitely got a lot of freshness and you get the lemoniness and you get the roseness. There's a lot of rose going on, but you also get a smokiness. The spice is not as much there anymore. Yeah, it's kind of like a smoky, fresh rose. They're quite good together. I think I prefer them separately, but they are quite special together, and I bet the longevity is a little bit better again. Yeah, I think if I was going to combine red roses with anything, I would probably combine it with myrrh and tonka to kind of like give it a little bit more woodsy creaminess. What other combinations would I go for? Blackberry and bay and red roses is really good. Wood sage and sea salt is good with basically everything to just make it a little bit more salty and coastal. I kind of feel like Velvet Rose and Oud don't tamper with it, like it doesn't really need anything. The only thing that I think it'd be good with myrrh and tonka, maybe with a little bit of oud and bergamot would be quite an interesting combination. Should probably try that. And yeah, red roses, again, perfect on its own, but if you do want to like make it a little bit more juicy and berry-y, I would try it with blackberry and bay or maybe a touch of pomegranate noir. And yeah, Marin Tonka. Marin Tonka is good with everything. Marin Tonka is a gorgeous perfume, just beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful perfume, but it goes with everything. Like, it's such a good combiner. My two favourite combiners are Marin Tonka and Wood Sage and Sea Salt. Yeah, they're both good with everything. Like, they just make it everything either like salty and coastally and fresh, or creamy and darker and more mysterious. And what's not good about that? Anyway, I hope that helps. I hope I've given you a little bit of an insight into what the difference is. This is much more of a fresh garden, beautiful, crisp, daytime, dewy loveliness rose perfume. And then this is much more of a, I don't know, a romantic, evening-y, slightly sweet, smoky, more romantic, mysterious perfume. If I was going to say one is older or younger, that's really tricky. I would say maybe Velvet Rose and Oud is a little bit younger, because if you're buying a perfume for somebody who likes a bit more of a sweet, smoky, I don't know, more sexy perfume, I would say this is a sexier perfume. However, I don't think it's too sexy. I don't think it's too sexy for me, you know, and I don't like a sexy perfume. And then I would say that the Red Roses, it is fresh and it is daytimey, but I would say it's a little bit more elegant. I would say this one is possibly an older perfume, this is possibly a younger perfume, but I think they're both actually really ageless. I think they're both more on the feminine side than masculine, but of course if you want to wear either of them, you can. I would say the Velvet Rose and Oud, you could almost get away a bit better if you're a man, I think. It's hard. I don't know. I think they're both a bit more feminine, if I'm honest. But if you're a man and you're into either of them, go for it. I'm trying to think what else. Do you know what? If you're a man and you combined either of these with the Vetiver, that would probably be really good. I'm trying to think what else. Nothing. I've said it all, I think. I love both these perfumes. Red Roses is an all-time favourite of mine. Velvet Rose and Oud is absolutely stunning and just so special. So special. Oh, price wise, this one, Red Roses, is around £110 for a full size 100ml bottle, whereas I think Velvet Rose and Oud is a little bit more. It's around £150. I would say both of them are gorgeous for you, but also both make amazing gifts. I would say they're both very wedding day appropriate if you are looking for a wedding day fragrance. I think that's kind of it. I hope my videos made a little bit of sense. I hope I've not just been waving around perfumes and randomly saying magical, magical, magical. I don't really know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Here are the two perfumes, and yeah, I love them both. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you again. Goodbye.